When you're stuck at sea and thirsty, what you need to know to survive. When you find yourself stranded on a boat in the middle of the ocean with no sign of land or help, a sense of loneliness and hopelessness will overwhelm you. Thirst is one of the biggest challenges you face in this situation. The ocean is vast before you, but it contains not a drop of fresh water for you to drink. Yes, the ocean is there, stretching as far as the eye can see, but you know that drinking it would be a fatal mistake. So why can't you drink the ocean? And if you can't drink the ocean, what can you do to find fresh water in this dire situation? Why can't you drink the ocean? Solder, while seemingly readily available in an emergency, is not something that can be safely consumed. The main reason lies in the salt content of seawater. When you're stuck at sea and thirsty, what you need to know to survive. When you find yourself stranded on a boat in the middle of the ocean with no sign of land or help, a sense of loneliness and hopelessness will overwhelm you. Thirst is one of the biggest challenges you face in this situation. The ocean is vast before you, but it contains not a drop of fresh water for you to drink. Yes, the ocean is there, stretching as far as the eye can see, but you know that drinking it would be a fatal mistake. So why can't you drink the ocean? And if you can't drink the ocean, what can you do to find fresh water in this dire situation? Why can't you drink the ocean? Solder, while seemingly readily available in an emergency, is not something that can be safely consumed. The main reason lies in the salt content of seawater. While you might imagine that seawater would quench your thirst, the reality is quite the opposite. High salt content in seawater. Solder is about 3.5% salt, mainly sodium chloride NaCl. This means that each liter of seawater contains up to 35 grams of salt. When you drink seawater, the amount of salt in your body increases very quickly, leading to dehydration instead of compensating for your thirst. The human body can only process a certain amount of salt in the blood. When you drink seawater, you increase the concentration of salt in your blood, causing the cells in your body to pull water out to reduce the concentration of salt. As a result, your cells will become dehydrated, causing symptoms of severe dehydration. Risk of dehydration and kidney failure. When the human body receives seawater, it will not be able to use this amount of water for life activities. On the contrary, seawater only dehydrates you more quickly. Your kidneys will try to filter the salt in the seawater out of your body, but this requires a lot of fresh water to work effectively. Without fresh water, the kidneys will not be able to remove salt effectively, leading to a buildup of salt in the body. As a result, vital organs such as the kidneys, heart, and liver can be severely damaged, leading to salt poisoning and even multiple organ failure. Thirst gets worse. As soon as you drink seawater, your body begins to react immediately to the dehydration, and you will feel increasingly thirsty. Although seawater may initially relieve your thirst temporarily, it will quickly worsen your condition. The more seawater you drink, the more dehydrated your body becomes, and the thirstier you will become. This is a vicious cycle that you must avoid at all costs if you want to stay alive. So how to find fresh water when stranded at sea? Not being able to drink seawater is a grim reality, but luckily there are methods that you can use to find or create fresh water in this dire situation. Here are some ways that you can try to find fresh water when stranded at sea. Collect rainwater. The simplest and most effective way to find fresh water when you are at sea is to make use of rainwater. When it rains, you can use any tools or items available on the boat to collect rainwater. This is the most natural and pure source of water that you can have in this situation. You can use cloth, pots, or any containers to collect rainwater. Try to collect as much rainwater as possible because you never know when it will rain again. The faster you collect it, the better your chances of surviving longer. Evaporation method. In the absence of rainwater, you can try the evaporation method of seawater. This is a fairly simple method that uses sunlight to separate fresh water from seawater. You can use a basin or barrel of seawater, then cover it with a tarpaulin or a layer of glass to create a sealed environment. The sunlight will evaporate the seawater, and when the water vapor hits a cold surface such as glass or tarpaulin, it will condense into fresh water that you can collect. This is an effective method of purifying seawater into fresh water, although it requires time and good sunlight. Using desalination equipment. If you have desalination equipment, such as a seawater purifier, you can use it to purify seawater. These devices can use reverse osmosis to remove salt and impurities from seawater, turning them into fresh water. However, not everyone has this equipment on board, and this method is only feasible if you are prepared in advance. Eat foods high in water. A lesser-known but still useful method in extreme emergency situations is to take advantage of foods with high water content such as small fish or marine animals. Some fishermen and people stranded at sea have used fish blood or organs to sustain life during days without water. However, this should only be done when you have no other choice and is not a long-term solution. Don't drink urine. Although it may sound appealing in a desperate situation, drinking urine is a dangerous decision. Urine contains a lot of waste and salt, which increases the burden on the kidneys. Over time, this can cause serious kidney damage and make your body lose water more quickly. Large-scale desalination methods. Throughout history, humans have invented many ways to convert seawater into fresh water. The Greek philosopher Aristotle from the 4th century BC described two main methods. 1. High temperature heats seawater to create steam, then collects the condensed water. This method is effective, but consumes a lot of energy. 2. Reverse osmosis uses pressure to push seawater through a filter, retaining salt and impurities. This is a modern technology widely used in desalination plants. Today, more than 17,000 desalination plants worldwide are providing drinking water to hundreds of millions of people. However, the problems related to cost, energy, and waste of salt water are still problems that need to be solved. Conclusion: if you are stranded at sea, the most important thing is to stay calm and use the resources around you wisely. Drinking seawater will only make the situation worse. Focus on collecting rainwater, finding alternative water sources, and applying basic desalination methods. In desperate situations, creativity and patience are the keys to survival.